Hey y'all, welcome back to the cheat code. I'm preparing myself to start doing some reactions to some things. There's some things that I pick up intuitively and some things that I just have knowledge about from, just life. I was very big prior to this spiritual stuff taking the majority of my time and existence. Into watching like the Discovery Channel, TLC, just biographies, different things like that, just learning about life. I'm very big into just understanding life and human behavior. Um, I was even curious and looking into whether or not I should like maybe study psychology and see where I fit into that or what I can contribute to that, because I find that at a certain point I was coming to the same conclusions as a lot of psychologists, and I obviously didn't go to school for that, and I don't think that that's necessarily a common sense thing, not to like say that I know more than other people, but um some of us, I guess, are born with certain knowledge, or just, we have our own skill sets and things like that. But when I started noticing that I would just kind of come to the same conclusions that they did prior to them even mentioning what they were, when it came to just different people and things that they were suffering from. Um, yeah, I just felt like, maybe that's something I should start studying and looking into and incorporate that in what I'm doing and how I can help people. But I was just gonna do a quick little story time of a dream that I had the other day. And it was somewhat of a dream, but kind of like a nightmare, I guess you can say. So there's the lady, Lori Cohen, that I wanted to do some reactions to, because there's some things that she's saying that resonate with me, and other things that I find very interesting in terms of what she's been revealing. If you aren't aware of who she is, she's, I guess, recently started her presence on YouTube, and I think she has a very strong following and presence on TikTok. And she is an animal communicator, and she telepathically communicates with animals. And I noticed that she communicates with animals, and I don't think they're always animals. So she might show a picture of an animal that she was sent by their owner, wanting to get some information, like, is my cat happy? Is my dog happy? Is my bird happy? Whatever. And the answers that she'll get, it's pretty, I'm just going to speak from my perspective. It's obvious to me that a lot of times she's not talking to a cat or a dog. So whether or not she's aware, sometimes she says that she is aware. Like there's been well, at least one blatant incident where she said that something else did step in, or someone else did step in, and it was a human person, or human, we'll say someone, I guess, whose last incarnation was as a human being. Um, but anyways, I was having difficulty sleeping, and I had my phone with me, and I was just kind of flipping through my phone looking for a video, and one of her videos popped up on YouTube. And she was talking about a cat that was basically, I think the cat was talking about, um, I can't even remember now. I think they're just blocking it because they want me to get to the point, talking about whatever spirits are connected to me. So they essentially, oh my gosh, what am I getting at? Yeah, so what had happened was, as I was listening to the reading, I was just like, I don't understand why she still is the kind of like so skeptical. I kind of came to the conclusion, I feel like she's skeptical because she was made to be that way, because it allows her to give information without any sort of her own interpretations. It's kind of like she still does kind of give her interpretations, but not really. She's kind of more just free, like, I said this, the cat said that, I said this, the dog said that. Whereas for me, again, because I'm very rooted and grounded in like logic and what I believe to be true, and if some people are old souls, um, that sort of information comes to me as well. So even when I get spiritual guidance, and especially in a time of confusion like this for me right now with ascension and spiritual attacks and things like that, it's like I'll get a message, but I'll still question it. And I think for her ability to just freely receive the information and freely deliver it and not question it is, I think, where her, we'll say, gift of skepticism comes from. So as I was watching it, I was thinking, I'm like, I don't understand why she still doesn't get it. Like, why is she understand she's not talking to a cat or she's not talking to a dog. Like sometimes she'll say that she understands that it's an elevated soul, or the cat or the dog might say, I've reincarnated as several different things, or even people in past lives, or things like that. But they're teaching her information, and I feel oftentimes that they're her spirit guides or there's something. So anyways, the point is that as I was listening to it, whatever spirits were connected to me, especially at nighttime, it gets very busy. um, and whatever spirits were connected to me were saying that she's dead. And I was just like, excuse me. They're like, she's dead. That's why these cats and these dogs are talking to her like this, because they're trying to get her to understand that she's dead, and she's refusing to accept it, and she's not crossing over. And hearing that when you're like half asleep and half awake, and it's pitch black, and you're looking at somebody who is talking about these spiritual things and connecting to spirits, I was freaking out, and I'm like fumbling around trying to find the lights, and I was like terrified. And then it took me a moment, and they started flashing images in my mind of a movie that it grew on me. And there's like a backstory to that, which probably is going to take too long. I don't even know if I have enough memory to like record that. But basically it was Poltergeist 2. And I just recently watched some people do a reaction to that movie. And they were showing me, I guess they call him Reverend Cain in the movie. And they also refer to him as the Beast. And they're basically insinuating that he's the devil or Satan or something like that. So they're saying Antichrist. So see, like how I just shook my head. It's just like, okay, whatever. Like I'm just like, that's something that I noticed that lady Lori doesn't do. Like she just accepts it. So um they're saying I'm cynical or something like that. So anyway, yeah, so they were showing me images of that man, and I'm not afraid. Like in the beginning, like I was afraid when I saw him. um Interesting fact, if people don't know, but I think it's become common knowledge if you're a fan of that franchise, um and you know the history behind it. Like there was like a, I don't even remember what it was called. Like, you know, when they do the behind the scenes of movies, that there's certain movies that they say that were connected to a lot of just, I don't know, they're saying bad karma or bad juju or something like that. Just like had negative things connected to, like a lot of people passed away and different things like that. And with that movie, I remember watching some behind the scenes type thing, and I think it's online as well on YouTube. And they were saying that the bones that they actually used in the movie were of like, they were actual human bones, and they were actually practicing certain spiritual rituals while they were actually doing the movie, as they do with other movies. I think The Craft, as well as another movie that they referenced, they referred to an actual witch or someone who practices witchcraft, um, to get accurate information so they can depict it as witches practice. And yeah, so with that movie, the gentleman who played the Reverend Cain, um, he was suffering from, I think it was stomach cancer or something like that. So they were saying that they didn't really need to use makeup or anything like that on him, or any prosthetics or anything, because he actually was ill. And from my understanding, he passed away the day after he finished filming. Um, so yeah, so they're showing me his image, and I guess just trying to just show me things to kind of scare me. And that part didn't work, but the part when they're saying that she's dead and she doesn't know that she's dead, like that freaked me out, because I'm just like, I've been not hyper focusing on her, but when I watch her videos, I'm like more studying her than what she's saying sometimes, because I'm trying to figure out why are you struggling to understand that a cat is not gonna really have all this information and say that they're keepers of the universe and all this kind of stuff. It's like either you're tapping into somebody else's spirit, or just let me not go too far into it. I'll wait till I do a reaction or whatever. But it's just like when they were saying that to me, it like startled me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what if she is dead? Because I was like accepting that information at that time. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if she is dead? Because there's somebody else that I watched that talks about, he taps into energy of people who are like in the in between stage of passing on and before they actually cross over to wherever they go. Some people refer to it as universal consciousness, or you can say heaven, or wherever you believe that you go after you pass away. um and yeah, so basically they were saying that she's like refusing to go, and that's one of the things that he sees. The person I'm referring to is Cash Peters. I've mentioned him as well before. That when people pass over, sometimes they are not accepting of the fact that they've passed on. I think that's some of the spirits that I interact with as well, and also the fact that some people, now they're taking me down something else, that some people aren't aware that they're dead. I don't even remember where that came from, but I was reminded of that earlier. So they kind of act like they're still living, even though they're not. Um, yeah. So just basically, they were just saying that she was not willing to accept the fact that she had passed on. So that's why these spirits are coming to her through the guise of like animals. Oh, they were referencing it. They're making what is it called? The Source Code, that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, where you find, oh well, spoiler alert, um you find out at the end that he actually is just like a head, and they kept him alive just so that he could live out whatever duty he had to fulfill, or like solving like some kind of crime or something like that. um yeah, I fell asleep watching it a couple of times because I couldn't understand what was going on, and when I finally like really paid attention, I was like, oh. So they're kind of giving it that kind of energy, like she doesn't know that she's actually dead. And now I'm thinking about it, maybe she did die. Maybe she's reincarnated, and maybe it's just like, again, I just think something is playing with me, like a trickster spirit or something like that. It's just trying to play with me and scare me. So I just, yeah, that was just like a little story time of some of the things that I'm dealing with. I mean, that's like, believe it or not, the lighter end of things, because I've had all kinds of weird things happening. So let me just end it here. Thanks again for tuning into the cheat code. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I mean, more story times, more updates about my spiritual attacks, my ascension, and I always say, as I learn, I share. So, my whole point of even getting into any of this and sharing any of this was to help people. So maybe it's just the opposition that doesn't want me to help anybody. So we'll see what happens. I will keep you posted. And until next time, again, like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications to all. Stay tuned for when I start doing free yes or no questions, one card pull questions, and then moving towards doing full-blown readings. And that's all coming soon. So until next time, it's Cheat Code.